Young minds are the future of every nation, be it India, be it anywhere in the world, and young minds are shaping the future. And so we've assembled a list of questions which young people are troubled with. So, welcome to this episode of Ask SJS, and with me is Mr. Simerjeet Singh. And we all already know him very well, and he's here to answer some of the questions that you have sent in. And Simerjeet, so I would like to go through each question one by one and have your thoughts about these.
Let's do that.
Okay, so starting with the first question. Now, we know social media, we've talked about it at length, and you know how it's been influencing our lives. So he wants to ask, am I actually behind in life, or does social media just make it feel that way?
I'd say social media makes you feel that way, right? Because there's constant comparison happening. Somebody else is putting the trailer of their life on social media. You're comparing it with your full-length feature film. So of course you will feel that, oh, this is not as interesting. They're hand-picking those moments. And sometimes, I don't know who it was, there was this picture of how it appears in the front in that Greek villa and how it appears behind the scenes. There's 50 other people waiting to take a quick selfie at the same spot.
Yeah.
When your turn comes, it feels like you were the only one there. You were the star of the show. There's 50 other people saying, hey, hurry up, man. I have to take a picture. So social media is forcing you into a mindset of constant comparison, even if you actively deny, no, I'm just checking out what's happening. I'm not comparing myself, but at a subconscious level, you are trained to compare yourself. Oh my God, that person, he works with me, makes the same amount of money, but he went for holiday to Bali or to Vegas or Singapore.
Whatever, yeah.
And I went to Sambalpur or somewhere else. So of course you're going to feel. Be wise and don't compare your life with other people on social media, please.
Yeah, and I think people need to be mindful that that trailer that they're watching is after 10 retakes.
It's carefully created, maybe sometimes even AI generated.
Very true.
Right.
It's so much easier now.
Absolutely. And the writing also is coming AI generated. Everybody's writing flawlessly these days and with all those M dashes. And what is the typical AI thing to? It's not just this, it's that. Whenever you catch that phrase, it's probably AI written.
Probably,
I mean, even if you're using AI, come on, be smart to at least be a good editor and, yeah.
So I think you have your answer. It's the camera is a magical thing. It's about what you see in the frame, and you don't see anything around that. I mean, even if we were to pan the cameras right now, you would realize that there is a lot of hard work that has gone into setting this session up to make it look nice and presentable for you guys. And we're not shying away from that. But the point is that, if you're getting influenced by social media, it's probably not 100% real. It may well be, but it's probably not more often than not. So I'll move on to the second question. Well, in this age of AI, YouTube, and online certification, which is coming from all these course creators and all these places, is college still worth it?
College in our formal education system is seriously outdated. But you don't have another option, okay? So studying at home or, homeschooling and all that, not a viable option right now. It's an outdated system, but that's the best with what you have. So I say the onus is on you. The responsibility is on you. Accept it that you're walking into an institution that's living way beyond its expiry date. But since there's no other option, walk in with a positive, optimistic mindset. What is that I can still do that is still within my hands that will help me distinguish myself from other people when I graduate? That'll still help me get a job when I graduate. And those are the things that you'll have to do in your own free time, right? So college has a curriculum for you, but you also design a curriculum for you. Books, learning, courses, mentors, internships, and other sort of things. And while you're in college, be optimistic, right? Hang around the right sort of people. And even with the faculty out there, research proves this. If you go to your classrooms thinking, what a waste of time, it will be a waste of time. But if you walk into that classroom thinking, I'm going to learn something today, even if you learn 2 or 3 things, your time is well justified.
And I always feel that I think in a teacher-student relationship, I believe that the student is bigger. Why? Because it is up to the student to get the most out of the teacher.
True.
So I think if you're asking the relevant questions and if you're really curious, more often than not, you will see that the teacher will be inclined to find the answer and give it to you or help you find the answer. So,
Yep.
okay, the next question comes: how do I choose a career when my interests keep changing every 2 years?
Keep changing careers. Nothing wrong with that. We are actually living in the era of multiple careers. You know, back in my father's generation, it was one job, one career your entire life, and you would retire from there. And then came multiple jobs, same career but multiple jobs. You would still be a financial analyst but work with different firms. You would still be an engineer but work with different firms. And now truly is the era of people having multiple careers. You see a lot of the startup bug catches a lot of people around their 40s when they've made some surplus cash in their jobs and the jobs become too boring. Everybody launches a startup. So don't rush into another career just because everybody else is doing it or because it's trending right now. Do it because you strongly feel the urge that your creativity, your leadership skills, your originality will flourish in another field. By all means, try it. And here's how you can try it. You don't jump into it 100%. First, maybe you want to check how things will go out, do a little experiment, side experiment, start it as a side hustle, and then when you see that it's flourishing and that is something you will really enjoy doing, by all means choose it. Here's my disclaimer. Here's a little word of caution here, that pick something that makes you feel truly come alive. And then here's what you will be able to do. You'll be able to work 24/7, 365 days a week without needing to listen to a motivational speaker, right? Because you would be intrinsically motivated. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation, Kunal, is your love of the game itself. So find a career in which you so come alive in a way that you don't need extrinsic motivation anymore. Extrinsic motivation is rewards, money, appreciation, things like that. If you love the challenge of what you've picked up enough, then you'll be able to sustain yourself in the long run. And you will need that in an alternate career. Because in alternate career, you'll need to work a little bit harder on your marketing, on everything. You're the person who's doing the branding, who's delivering, who's conceptualizing. You're doing so many things at the same time. So you will need that drive to show up consistently for very long periods of time. I've been in my game for almost 20 years now. And every day I wake up with a fresh thing that, there's still a war out there to fight. There's still a challenge ahead. The day it becomes monotonous, and the word monotonous originates from monotone. You're a music person. So if your life is playing in a monotone, maybe you look for something not just to change the tone, but because you want to sing that tone, because you can no longer ignore that tone.
So I'll move on to the next question. Is it normal to feel anxious when nothing is wrong in my life, when everything seems to be okay?
We suddenly start becoming a little bit afraid. If everything is working well, we have this subconscious fear that something somewhere is going to go wrong, because we've been conditioned to believe that life can't flow smoothly. If it's flowing smoothly, some monster is hiding around the corner. And I think we all have to work on our beliefs. Many beliefs we inherit from our social system, from our parents, are taught to us. And those limiting beliefs, the biggest battle you will fight is not with people outside. It will be with your own limiting beliefs. And one of the top limiting beliefs is, if everything is running fine in your life right now, be careful, because something might just go wrong. And I think it's good to exercise caution. It's good to exercise, not get carried away with the flow, and be mindful of the fact that seasons change all the time. After the day, the night comes, and things like that. But also, if you're having a good run, be humble, enjoy it, make the best out of it, and also be prepared for when the tide changes. But to not be anxious about it, never to be anxious. Don't be anxious in good times, because they too shall pass. Don't be anxious in bad times, because they too shall pass. And that's the whole essence of life and existence itself.
So the next question I want to share with you is, what skills actually matter in the next 5 to 10 years, and what's your opinion about it? Not just for looking good on LinkedIn, but something that would really be relevant, looking at what the scenario is.
I would say number one skill for the future is the willingness to be embarrassed, and to have that thick skin to put yourselves in situations which could be potentially embarrassing. So risk taking, in other words, creativity, in other words, networking, human skills, communication, articulation of your ideas, mental peace, emotional balance would be another skill that will be highly important. Financial planning. Because we're living in very uncertain times with all these layoffs happening, restructuring happening, so much so, how do fitness, health and fitness and vitality and energy, all of those things, to be able to maintain a reasonable level of energy and drive in order to do what you want to do. Because so much else is going to be delegated to the machines and to AI and to algorithms, that these skills will suddenly shine. Leadership, mentorship, the ability to develop other people, the ability to bring an idea to the market, and things like that, to the ability to execute on your ideas. Those, according to me, are the top skills of the future.
There's a follow-up question that I have. Like, you spoke about mental health, mental well-being,
Yeah.
and you also spoke about, financial planning.
Yeah.
These are some of the skills which are not being taught in any of the educational institutions, and I think they're very essential survival skills right now. So, can you talk about those two, mental well-being, one to start with, and then maybe financial planning and financial health?
I think I'll come back to screens again. It can be a major source of mental anxiety if not used properly. If you're not in charge of how much time you're spending on the screens, watching and absorbing all this extra stuff, it is going to leave a residual in your system, right? Even before, without you knowing it. So being mindful of that, developing and learning your own mindfulness practices, whether it's parents teaching children or children learning it on their own, will be very helpful. Mindfulness, the balance is key, in order to not get overwhelmed by all additional information outside and all the exciting things. Even too much of excitement can be harmful. Too much of enthusiasm, too much of motivation can also be a bad thing, because at the end of the day, you're in a hypercharged mode. You're not in balance, and you are going to take unreasonable decisions which you might regret later on, right?
Can you share a basic mindfulness practice that you recommend that most people can easily adopt?
I do alternate nostril breathing, Kunal. It's really helpful, and it works something like this. You breathe in through one nostril, you hold, and you exhale. And you spend longer time on the exhalation than on the inhalation. And you do it for 2 to 3 minutes. Whenever you feel your nervous system is overwhelmed, it's a good reset for that. That's one of the mindfulness practices. Hydration, very helpful in terms of watching the amount of caffeine that you're taking in on any given day. Multitasking, again, can overwhelm your system. So at times you have to do it, but whenever you find time, just try to make sure that you're focusing on one thing at a time, if your circumstances allow you to do that. Being mindful of what you eat is also going to have an impact on that. But I think breath work is my go-to. If not the alternate nostril breathing, you can always do a deep breath in and hold it for as long as you can, and then a long exhale. And you put some music on. I like the Tibetan balls. I like that music a lot, and I have a Spotify list that I put it in the background every now and then. And there are moments when you want to feel charged up, and there are moments when you want to be more centered. So I think becoming aware of what state of mind you are in is the first step. If you're already stimulated enough, no point having that extra coffee. Say no to that. Learning to say no is very important. If you've already had a busy day, no point saying yes to that evening movie that your friends are going out, or no point hanging out having alcohol if you've had a rough day, right? Thinking it'll probably reset the system. It won't. It'll further drain it. So yeah, those are my go-to meditation.
And about financial planning and financial health, it's a topic which is often overlooked. I mean, a lot of us growing up, didn't have the luxury of anybody guiding us in terms of what kind of financial decisions to take, what is a good method of saving your money and building wealth over a period of time. The traditional method was, of course, you invest in a fixed deposit, but I don't think that's very relevant anymore.
Yeah, I was coming to that. The fixed deposits did their magic for the previous generation, and it was real estate. It was fixed deposits in real estate. And fixed deposits, I remember specifically, a friend of mine who went to study with me said, I want to put 1 CR, that's 1 crore rupees, in a fixed deposit, because fixed deposit at that point of time yielded 12% annual return. So that was like you said, oh, I'll get 1 lakh rupees per month as interest income, and those were the good old days, and that's why our parents did not have to explore other revenues apart from other investments at that point of time. And real estate was big. Now it's more complex and more easier, more within your reach. So my tips are very simple here. Don't get carried away by trends. Everybody's buying silver. Everybody's buying silver. Don't necessarily have to buy silver. Figure out, is it at the right levels? Do I mean, what is influencing my purchase decision right now? Is it because everybody else is buying it? The second thing to keep in mind is to understand that the past is never a predictor of the future. Whether it's a mutual fund, whether it's a stock, whether it's a commodity, the past is never a predictor of the future. Something could have done phenomenally well in the last 10 years, but might just be a dud for the next 5 years. So be very mindful of that. Number three, you have to be careful of fear and greed. Fear and greed, that two forces that influence mass hysteria at times. So set your targets. What sort of return are you seeking from this investment? And once you hit that benchmark, have the discipline to cash in, or to once it's met your expectations, the fear or the greed kicks in. Before that kicks in, before those visceral emotions kick in, make your financial decision. Number five, lifestyle choices. I would say, don't get carried away by what the influencers are talking about. You don't need the latest iPhone. You don't need to upgrade your car every other year. You don't need to impress people with money, that by taking money on interest, and people who will never be impressed anyway. So live your life on your own terms, and you'll figure out in the long run that your finances will be in order. Invest in insurance as well, a good decent insurance policy that covers your health or other incidentals. Yeah.
Excellent. So let's move on to the next question. How do I build self confidence when I constantly compare myself to others?
So yeah, I think the answer lies within the question itself. You have to stop comparing yourself with other people, and you have to start spending time with yourself. बुल्ले शाह जी ने एक काफ़ी च अपने लिखिया कि पढ़ पढ़ इल्म हज़ार किताबां कदी अपने आप ਨੂੰ ਪੜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੂੰ ਜਾ ਵੜਦਾ ਮੰਦਰ ਮਸੀਤੀ ਕਦੀ ਮਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਚ ਵੜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਲੜਦਾ ਸ਼ੈਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੰਦਿਆ ਕਦੀ ਨਫਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੁੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਅਸਮਾਨੀ ਉੜਦੀਆਂ ਫੜਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸਿਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਫੜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ so folks who do not understand Punjabi, what that literally means is we spend our lifetime reading books and knowledge and figuring out that probably the answers lie outside somewhere. They don't. The answers are all within you. You just have to tap into that space. You have to make peace with silence, make peace with solitude. You don't always need company. Spend time with yourself and study yourself. What am I good at? Where have I messed up? What do I need to improve? Don't beat yourself up. That's not the agenda here. Don't be too harsh on yourself, but be your own coach. What does a good coach do? If you don't play well, he'll give it to you, the hard, cold truth right to your face, and you will dislike it. So do that to yourself, and then say, okay, there's the next game. How can I get better for the next game? So do that. And how do you build confidence? You build it by competence also. Whatever your field is, try working harder on it. And you get better at it, and when you're competent, you feel confident. And confidence is also a state of mind, which is achieved by not giving things undue importance, right? This is very tricky. Let me explain. Let's say you have an interview coming up, and you go with the burden on your shoulders. Oh my God, my whole family depends on this interview. My life depends on this interview. I will die if this interview doesn't go well. You're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders. You will not be able to shine.
True.
Right? Get that mental burden off and say, this is just like many of the other interviews I've been in, and let's see how this goes. Right? And so to go with that easy mindset, easygoing mindset, you will see a lot of things will automatically fall into place.
Wonderful. So the next question that I have on my list is hustle culture motivating or just glorified burnout?
I think it's glorified burnout to an extent. Now, here's the thing. Let's just differentiate between, if you're hustling for the right thing in the right way, using the right tools, the right people, the right resources, it will create the result that you desire. If you're just hustling because the hustle culture is trending, and I want to be one among them, and I want to live the life of on high caffeine and high sugar energy drinks and things like that, and just be hustling for the sake of hustling, it doesn't make sense to me. So I think a lot of young people have been caught in this trap because it's been glorified by influencers. But when you find something that you truly fall in love with, you will not call it hustle anymore. It'll become an integral part of your life. And at the same time, I must say it's very important that you get proper amount of sleep. No matter how compelling your mission is, sleep resets and your health, and because your health and your energy are the enablers of all your latent desires and your potential. So if you compromise your health or your mental well-being, you won't be able to achieve that. So striking the right balance is key.
Sometimes you need to let go, and sometimes you need to just take a pause so that you can reset yourself and just come back, look at that problem with a fresh perspective.
Yep.
And I think that always helps. It's not always just hustle, grind. No. It's not going to work every time.
No.
So great. The next question is kind of related to this, where it says, can one be ambitious and still protect their own mental health?
Oh yes, of course. Let's tweak the question a little bit. I'm ambitious, but I lost my mental health. Oh, you're a danger to society then, right? No, you have to protect your mental health and be ambitious or satisfied or whatever it is. You do anything at the cost of your mental, physical health, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I read this phrase somewhere which said, a healthy man has 1,000 dreams. An unhealthy person has only one dream.
To be healthy.
He or she wants to be healthy again, right? So, yeah, no, it's not worth it. Definitely not worth it.
I also want to rephrase this question in the sense that to have good mental health, is it bad to be ambitious? So,
it's not bad to be ambitious. It's good to be ambitious. But again, at the right temperature. I'm a hospitality student, and we were taught cooking. And our teacher would often come and walking across and say, no, that's too high. The temperature's too high. And I think that the same principle applies to life also. If the temperature's too high, you're going to burn. And if it's too low, it won't probably cook properly, right? So you have to learn to control the temperature. Ambition is good. Ambition is fire. But if the fire consumes you, you're dead, right? And if the fire it doesn't burn brightly enough, it won't take you anywhere. So to learn to harness that fire in the right way, in the right direction.
Great. What does success look like if you don't want a traditional 9-to-5 life?
If you don't want a traditional 9-to-5 life, then success better look like giving your dreams the wings they need, giving your creativity the outlet it needs. If you were brave enough to not choose 9-to-5, if you were lucky enough to create something outside the 9-to-5, I hope you're utilizing it to give voice to your inner beliefs, convictions, your inner books and podcasts and business ideas and whatever else is. Because I understand, I've spent time in 9-to-5, or it's called 9-to-5. It wasn't 9-to-5. It's 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day, right? Hospitality industry. Type in a yes if you're from the industry. You know what I mean. And it served its purpose. It's created me the person who I am today. But now that I'm not in the 9-to-5, am I using that freedom to do the things I really wanted to do? Because this, Kunal, every day I walk into these premises and I touch the floor and I say thank you. This is a golden opportunity that many people do not have, to be able to live life on their own terms and to work in the direction that they want to work, and to be able to speak freely, and there's so much politics involved in so many organizations. You have to be mindful of so many things. And here I am, having the freedom to express and having the freedom to inspire, having the freedom to pursue my own creative goals, which I felt confined in the 9-to-5 setup before. And it's a golden chance. So I hope anyone who's lucky enough to create a life outside 9-to-5, I hope you're using to create something to give voice to your inner self, to the unsung melodies inside your heart.
Wonderful. How do I figure out who I am when everyone expects me to already know that?
Well,
because you're also saying, everybody keeps telling us, you need to know who you are. But sometimes a lot of people struggle with identifying what their strengths and weaknesses are, perhaps?
There are tools available now that will help you identify your strengths. Gallup Strength Finder test is one that I took myself. There's other psychometric testing tools, but these are not set in stone. These tools are, they'll be indicative of your talents and who you are. I think there's two aspects to this question. One is who I think I am, and the other one is who I think I want to be. And I club them both together. I actually have an exercise. I've shared about this in a lot of other videos. I have a set of cards, the who are you cards, right? In which I remind myself who I am, because I often forget. Because in the confusion of the world that surrounds us, we are told with so many other things, but I have a definition that I would like to become. And I'm partly that, or I'm fully that, or I'm 75% there, or 5% there. I don't know. But it's a muscle that I must build daily. So who I am is based on your reflection of who I am. I'm part of the divine. That's my definition. Okay. I'm part of the divine. You take a slice out of a pizza, what is still in my hand?
Pizza.
It's pizza, right? So it's, even if it's a slice. You take a drop out of the ocean, it's a drop, but it's still off the ocean. I'm a drop off the ocean. That's how I look at myself, right? So that means there are no limits. There are no inhibitions on my journey. It's all up to me. Whatever the brightest, the boldest, the most smartest people on this planet can achieve, I have the same ability to do so. Whether I choose to, whether I feel I deserve it or not, is my internal battle to fight. That is your internal battle to fight. If you think you don't deserve it, how can I help you with that? If you have $1 million in your pocket and you go into the Mercedes showroom and you still feel, I'm not worthy of buying this car, but you have the money to buy it, no, I don't feel like, no, nobody can help you with that. If you refuse, so no, if the person says, no, let me give you a Mercedes, but you say, no, where will I park it? Or how will I protect it? Or how will I buy insurance? How will this? I don't deserve a Mercedes. If I buy a Mercedes, I'll also need a chauffeur dressed up all in white. So no, I don't deserve a Mercedes. Thank you so much. And the person who's giving you a Mercedes will say, okay, no problem. I thought I brought a gift for you, but you don't want it. So the universe has so many gifts lined up for you. But if you don't think you deserve them, who can help you but yourself? You have to sit down with yourself and say, you're a child of God as much as anybody else. All the celebrities you see on screen, all the people you admire, flesh and bones. Like you and me, right? Probably gone through similar battles like you and me. They're not special. So, and neither are you. Neither am I. But to understand that we're all special in our own way, and to love and respect, and to understand you're connected to every human being through that fine thread, what we call humanity, that we're all one. And to understand that through that oneness, you are one in the eyes of the Almighty. And how to take that knowledge then to crush all your limiting beliefs that you might have inherited, that other people told you you weren't good enough, or you don't come from that section of society, or you did not go to that school, how dare you? And your answer should be, why not? Why not? I dare to do it.
Wonderful. I think this next question is probably about education or employment. It says, is it okay to take a break here, or am I falling off the race permanently?
Oh, definitely okay to take a break here. In fact, take a break here even if you do not have a break here. To do something, because the academia is a bubble. I hate to say this, but this is the truth. The academic world is a bubble that we live in, far away from the real life. And you got to go step by step into real life. So take a break in the sense that I would say everybody go work at a cafe or a restaurant. Work at a busy restaurant for at least a month. Right? And see how you will learn multitasking, customer service skills. You learn how to smile when your blood pressure is shooting, and you'll be like, oh, welcome, right? And your blood pressure is shooting, and do those, put yourself through situations where you travel across the world, do other sort of things, do internships, do all that, because when you go to a formal job, you probably might not have the freedom to make all these crazy creative experiments again. So by all means, take a break here if
and I think those experiences enrich you, and you're able to stretch yourself in ways that you would probably normally never do. So
there is no race, and by the way, there is no race. The only race you're running is with yourself.
That's true. How do friendships change after school or college, and how do you deal with that?
Oh, good question. बचपन के दोस्त पुराने वो फिर नहीं मिलते है ना वो. There are a bunch of friends we have the freedom to call them tum. There are a bunch of friends we tum, yeah, and there are a bunch of friends we all have to call them aap. So the school friends always will be in the category where you grew up together. But guess what? Things are going to change, right? And a lot will depend upon what direction your life goes into. And people change, right? Even if you don't want them to, even if you remain the same, people around you are going to change. That's a bitter truth. And some people will be very occupied with their family responsibilities, so much so they will never have time for you. Some friendships will fall up, some new ones will develop. Change is the essence of life. And I think you'll have to accept this bitter truth that these friendships will also evolve. Some will come, some will go, some will endure. And I think those will be the ones to spend time with.
Can you also tell me about relationships? I mean, relationships evolve over time. So, how does one deal with that? Your expectation of somebody. It could be your partner. It could be two friends. Any sort of relationship. Your expectation of somebody. When the relationship started was very different, and sometimes things like you say change.
Yeah, they change, and if they haven't changed for the better, if they've changed for the worse, maybe and if that person is really important to you, I think it's worthwhile to keep your ego away and go ask them, hey, you know what, is there something, on your mind? Has there been something that, have an open conversation to see if you can rescue the relationship. And if not, and even despite your best efforts, sometimes you just outgrow a relationship. Sometimes just priorities change, values change, people change, or people have a fixed opinion of who you are, and you cannot change that, Kunal, no matter how hard you try, right? And that's when you take a step back and say, okay, maybe I'll give this person some time to see them the way I think who I am, because they're so caught in their own definition of who they think I am, which is not true. But how do I convince them? How do I tell them? I can't. If I tell them verbally, they will never be convinced. And it's so suffocating, so difficult to continuously live up to somebody else's expectations of you. So in that case, maybe take a step back and let that person get to know the real you, because the real you can never be hidden. At some stage or the other, it'll always be visible. And whether they like it or not, that'll be authentic. And so give them the space and time. Let them fly. If they come back, then.
So there's this one question I have in mind. Now, there's this huge trend of having financial independence and retiring early. I believe it's called your fire number or something.
Okay. Okay.
And there's this whole thing. I think it's again an influencer thing, perhaps, but you want to retire at 40.
I've heard a lot about it. Early
so-
retirement, retire at 40 and make $1 million and retire at 40.
How much sense does that make to you? What do you have to say about that?
I don't know. By all means, if that works for you, if you make $1 million and want to, spend all your remaining days on the beach drinking martinis or whatever, or pina coladas, the rest of your life, by all means do that. But I can't see how somebody who's wired to achieve will be comfortable with that life for too long. I can't see that. I have difficulty accepting that, or at least I speak for myself. I can't see somebody who's wired like me to have hit the milestone. I'm not driven by milestones. I'm driven by the journey. So what is the end point? I don't know. Would there be an end point where I say, this is enough, or we will stop doing this, or we'll stop doing that because I've hit a certain number? I don't think it's driven by numbers for me. And maybe for somebody who's wired like that, who's not driven by a milestone, but by the journey, I think that person will find it very hard to sit down and just savor looking at the screen and the bank balance every day and saying, hey, I've retired early, and then what? The question is, and then what? Because you probably have way more inside you to give back to humanity and society in different forms. Maybe it doesn't have to be a business or an employment. Could it be non-profit? Could it be teaching, coaching, giving back? But it's got to be something, because I feel we are designed to create and designed to make a difference. And that's when we feel we come alive. And people have spoken about it. Professor Mihai calls it the state of flow. Somebody who's in dentistry, for example, a dentist experiences that state of flow all day, patients coming in, going out. A teacher experiences it. Somebody like me is in a state of flow having these conversations. And how will you experience that state of flow while doing nothing? Maybe for a week, maybe for 10 days, for a month, but after that, you are going to miss that. And keep that into account before you buy into this myth.
And so if you have the fire number all figured out, be sure that it might just extinguish your own fire. So just be careful.
Well said.
So this is another interesting one, and I think we've touched upon this in the past as well. How do I stay focused in a world designed to constantly distract me?
Yeah, focus takes preparation. Pre-prepare for focus, just like you prepare for distractions. Don't we prepare for distractions? We find a comfortable place to sit down. We find nobody's looking. Go to the phone and we start scrolling, right?
Get rid of all the chairs in the room.
That's a good idea. People who stand and work are far more efficient. But no, jokes apart, just like we figure out time to get distracted, right? We deliberately or mindlessly pick up the phone, but we pick it up anyway, or whatever we do, or go on that random tangent, or go on having that random conversation. We allow time for that. The same way we have to design and allow time for focus. That means tell folks if you're working from home, tell people around you, next 1 hour, I cannot take phone calls. My door, please don't bang on my door. Tell people around you. If you're at the workplace doing something or wherever, announce it. So you tell yourself, have the tools ready, which means the airplane mode is your best friend there, and whatever else you need to deliver. Put a 60-minute timer, 90-minute timer. Come out and then get distracted again. Finish your 60 minutes, 90 minutes, deliver what you were supposed to, take a short break, do whatever you want to, go back into it again, and stretch that muscle. Yeah.
I think another important thing that comes to my mind is I heard this somewhere else also. There's this one gentleman who used to dedicate time every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. to journal about something, and his idea was this only. Like, for example, the timer, that like the 60 or 90-minute timer, is not always to tell you that the time is up, but it's also sometimes because when you're distracted and anxious, you make it a practice to sit for that long. So it's also to make sure that you in that allocated time you are freeing yourself from distractions.
True. And I feel most people will feel fidgety after sitting 30 minutes without a device, staring at a blank sheet of paper.
I give them 5. 30 is too much.
Right, 30 is too much. But imagine the possibilities, Kunal. If you have a blank sheet of paper in front of you and there's no distraction, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no screen, nothing, and you'll be fidgety in the beginning, but what if the next brilliant idea comes after that and you write it down and you make it happen? You could turn your life around. And I often joke this with people when they're spending time on social media scrolling. I said, are you making some money out of this? And they say, no. I said, well, somebody else is making money out of this. If you're watching, they monetized it or whatever. If you're watching or scrolling or doing whatever, somebody else is making money out of it. But question is, are you? And it's not just about money. It's about, are you learning how to cook a new dish for your family, for example? Are you learning something about mindfulness meditation or something? Is it worthwhile? Are you even aware of what is the consumption that's happening on that device?
I think it's a powerful productivity exercise. This is another interesting one. How do I deal with the fear of making the wrong life decision?
Oh, how do you get a perfect life? How do you make all the decisions in life right now? I don't know who said this, but it's like decision making is a muscle that you only develop after making the wrong decisions, right? So which means wrong decisions are going to be a part of your life experience, and that's how you will learn how to make the right experiences. The only thing is, will you sit and cry about your wrong experiences every day? You can do that. Some people do that. They play the victim card. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do that right. If I could have done that, wah, 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 all day. Okay, fine. You made wrong decisions. Move on now. Learn the lessons. It's how you view them. If you view those wrong decisions as a lesson learned, you are probably going to process it differently. Because you pay a lot of money to go for an MBA program, for example. Oh, that was an expensive mistake, that decision I took, but it taught me a very invaluable lesson, right? So look at them differently. There is no perfect life, and no one's journey has been free of bad decisions, and you only develop that muscle after you make a few wrong decisions on your own. But there are tools available to help you make better decisions. Read books, biographies, listen to other wise people, but still, there'll be situations where you will not know what to do, and listen to your gut instinct, your values, and then take a call, and it might be a good call or a bad call, and then you'll learn something good will emerge out of it.
And I think this is the last question for this session today. What does a meaningful life look like beyond money, likes, and titles?
What does a meaningful life look like beyond
Beyond
money?
money, likes, and titles.
Okay, okay. Happiness, health, uh, a coffee without rushing. 5 minutes. In 5 minutes doing nothing, having a coffee by yourself. Happy children, yeah. Although I would believe having more money will have happier children, but that's only a threshold. There's only a threshold. There's only a threshold after which even money loses its value.
I think you're counting your own blessings right now.
Of course, yes, of course, yes. So many things. So having a couple of pots in your garden where you grow or growing some herbs, fresh herbs, is a meaningful life. Having time to connect with the divine, to connect with the Creator. If you get enough time to connect with the Creator, I think that's a meaningful life. Having time to help someone along in their journey, whatever help you can give them, financial, emotional, whatever. There's so many ways to get meaning out of life beyond money is one aspect, and I don't say this lightly because money is an important aspect. It's a very important aspect, right? Money solves a lot of problems, and I love money for the good things you can do with money, right? I'm not against that. Success in all its forms is welcome, but it should be wholesome success, which means, are you healthy? Are you happy? And you will not be 100%. Circumstances will not be 100% right for you to be happy. If you have a checklist and say to life, look, here are 100 things. All of these 100 things need to be satisfied so I can be happy. It will never happen. You'll be frustrated. But even if 90 are going well, can I just look at the 90 and ignore the 10 and say, that's a good life. Thank you, God. And to look back and reflect at your own life and see, have you come a good distance? Has your existence mattered to someone, even if to one person? I think it's worthwhile. So there's a lot of ways you can create meaning out of life beyond money, beyond likes, beyond titles, because these are all fleeting things, yeah. And they're nice things. It's good to get likes, like the video, by the way. Yeah. it's good to get likes. But if you're dependent on likes all the time, I think then now you've become a prisoner to the system, and you must understand there's a system out there. The system wants your money, Kunal. Yeah.
And your attention.
And your attention. You walk into duty free, and there's, there's the spirits I don't need, but I want to buy
perfumes.
them. Perfumes I don't need. I already have too many.
The big bars of chocolates.
Yeah, they want to get
So,
and then they want to make it pain free. So what do these days? Tap your card.
yeah.
There's no pain in tapping your card. You pull out your wallet and physically count your money. There's pain in that. Physically giving away hard cash. So there's a whole system out there to imprison you, right? Oh, you like that car? Just take it out on EMIs, right? And even if you can't afford it yet, you like that phone? Take it out on EMIs. So you build your whole lifestyle on this very fragile thing, and it's okay. I mean, it's okay if you're able to handle all that, if you're able to juggle all that pressure, sleeping peacefully at night. How about that?
I think that's very meaningful.
Yeah, you sleep well, you wake up fresh, and you have a few friends around. What more can you ask for?
That's great. That's great. I think we'll have to end the session here, and thank you.
We don't want to, but we have to. But thank you so much now.
Well, I think if people have more questions, they are most welcome to put them in the comments down below. And you've got the email address in the description. You can shoot us an email as well. And we'll be happy to answer more questions. Anything that brings value to you, anything that adds more to, whatever quality of life that you're aspiring towards,
Yep.
we're always there to help.
Absolutely, we are.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.